I learned today that sometimes in art, just like anything else in life, you might have a plan, you might have direction, but every once in a while, you just have to put yourself in the passenger seat and let nature do its damn thing. Debuting in 1972, Godzilla vs. Gigan or Godzilla on Monster Island. Gigan is peak 70s Godzilla in the best way possible. Even those who don't like the movies of that time love Gigan. I was commissioned to work on this X plus 25cm Gigan figure to make it look like the Trendmasters 1990s Doom Island Gigan colorway. You can see the reference picture here. So we started on that trek, that journey, but it didn't take long for both me and the client to kind of come to the agreement that for this aesthetic, for this shape of Gigan, the colorway just really wasn't working the way we wanted it to. And after a couple other failed attempts at finding a nice colorway, we kind of stumbled into what I would say is probably the happiest accident I've had yet. So with that being said, I present to you the Galactic Hunter X plus 25cm Gigan. Now I had a lot of fun working on this piece, especially considering that it wasn't supposed to look like this at all. Probably the one aspect of this final product here that was planned was having the spikes. All the metal aspects of him are all rustic. That was intentional. That was something that got carried over to the final piece. At some point while working on this, I wanted Gigan to look very aged and ancient, something that's been menacing the galaxy for thousands and thousands of years. The black parts of Gigan, I wanted those to look dull and worn, not spick and span, but kind of gritty, beat up. The wings were a client call out. He picked a particular blue that I went with, and we kept that color, but I did add in like the purple transitioning effect, and that was a last minute update based on the way the rest of this was going, specifically these scales right here. So when I say like, hey, nature just took over, these scales are what I'm talking about. In the process of trying out these different colors for the client, to try to figure out something that worked, that was visually and aesthetically pleasing. We had red scales on the stomach, as you saw in the earlier pictures. Neither one of us liked it, and then he suggested that I try blue. So I tried to strip off as much of the red as I could, and I used like hot water, a little bit of soap, and a brush, and then I started applying the blue scales. And upon doing that, it actually created this effect that you see here. I honestly had no idea that it would do that, nor that it would look as good as it does. It's kind of got this iridescent effect with the blues, and the purple was just something created out of the mixing of the two colors. And it has almost like the way certain fish may look, their scales may reflect when they come out of water into the light. It has that going on, but it looks very like space. It looks like something that would come out of that blue crystal that he travels in. So it kind of just wrote itself. It became the theme of the figure. And then after that, it was just as easy as adding what I wanted for dry brushing to match the aesthetic that I knew now that I was working with, and boom, all she wrote. It really was just like intervention. And that's really the story, as simple as it is for this piece. I get asked all the time, like, hey, how come in your videos you don't call out specifically the colors that you use, or kind of give like a step-by-step tutorial for how to paint some of these things the way I do? First, I have a toddler, so I don't really get a lot of time to just kind of focus on painting these things out. A lot of these things take me a while, especially the kits. I'm not nearly as fast as other people are these days, because it's really, I only get to paint when I get him to sleep, or so on and so forth. But the other reason actually ties to pretty much the story behind this figure. It's not like I use formulas when I am mixing paints or starting a project. I really prefer to just jump into things and freestyle and experiment. And sometimes, something as wonderful as this piece here is the result. Other times I have to keep adding layers upon layers upon layers and mixing different paints, and it becomes way too tedious to keep track and record. Plus, I also don't like the idea of creating something and then creating it again later on for another commission. I get bored easily if I'm doing something exactly how I did it before. I do like every project I'm working on to be new and different and fresh. So the quick answer as to why I don't call these things out is because I normally don't remember everything that I've used to have you get the same exact result that I got. I like learning by trial and error. I think it's really cool to see, even if something doesn't work out the way I wanted to, at least now I know what messing around with certain things does. And with all that being said, I'm going to call this video a wrap. Thank you guys for watching. I'm feeling all scattered anyway. I don't know why I decided to do a video after watching an episode of The Last of Us. It puts my brain in a whole other mode. But thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. And yeah, have a good week. Peace.